Is it overdramatic to quit my job because they want to lock up our phones while we're on the clock? I lasted 3 days at one job because they insisted no watches, no phones, and no clocks. We were paid till 5, but management refused to let us know it was quitting time. All 3 days we didn't get out till 6. It really depends on what kind of work you do. Absolutely, it's about the nature of your job and the trust your employer puts in you. If your job involves high security clearance or safety-sensitive tasks where distractions can cause real harm, then the request is reasonable. But in a typical office setting? No way. Personal emergencies don't run on a schedule, and instant communication is sometimes essential. It's about balance and respect. If companies can trust you with their clients and equipment, they can trust you not to abuse phone privileges. If not, maybe they need to reevaluate their hiring choices or management style, not invade their employees' personal spaces. The fundamental question is, does your role require constant, immediate availability, or is it a task where distractions could be detrimental to performance or safety? If it's a hands-on job like construction or equipment handling, the policy might be rooted in safety concerns, not mistrust. However, for most office jobs or non-critical work environments, banning phones feels overreaching. It's about evaluating the actual necessity versus the perceived need to micromanage. Having immediate access to your phone for emergencies or quick, important communications should be reasonable, if not potentially life-saving. Trust needs to be a two-way street where professionals, not pupils. Not dramatic, that's middle school nonsense if quit on principle. Mom, you are vastly underpaid if your regular job duties require regular contact with human feces. I feel like everybody on this thread would have died in the wild after 2 days less than 20 years ago. Depends on my life situation and need for the job. Before I had a kid I wouldn't care, my phone spent the day in my purse unless I needed it for work. After I had a kid, it's on me for emergencies. I wouldn't take a job that required differently, no. Do you? Edit 2. Maybe don't have your phone out for that kind of work. Depends on what you do, I guess, and if the benefits outweigh taking away your personal device. It depends, do you work for the government, a construction company, or an accounting firm? If it's either of the first two, you are being dramatic. If it's the latter, they are just psychotic control freaks and you absolutely should leave. Nope. You're not 5. You're an adult. Not worth working at a place that treats you like children. The only job I ever had that did this was a casino, which is fine. But man, fuck Goodwill. I worked at Goodwill one day. They wanted me to work over 10 hours with no lunch. When I asked for a lunch break, I was laughed at. Fuck them. Depends on what the other conditions are at work. It's a minor signal that they aren't paying good wages if they can't hire people who know how to get on with the job and not be distracted by text rhetoric. Most places that I've worked that had a no phones policy, you got to keep the phone. But it had to be on silent and it was a disciplinary if you were caught using it during work hours. I am oddly interested why you have to scoop human poop on a regular basis when working in a thrift store. Yes. Sounds like your employer, Goodwill, is doing a blanket rule to not deal with their employees that use their personal phone during work hours. They probably started out asking people to silence their phones and only use them if it's necessary. Some people can't do that and abuse the employer's offer. The employer has to do one of two things: ban phones or let it go. Letting it go will increase their cost and sooner or later, they have to make adjustments. Sounds like they are making one. The policy is not unreasonable. You should quit immediately if you don't agree. If there is an emergency, they can call the store for you like people did pre-cell phones. Not having your phone during work is that big a deal. I never needed a phone for 20 years of shop work. I survived. I work a correctional facility where phones are prohibited, and I go 8-16 hours without my phone, and it doesn't bother me anymore. My family knows the number for the facility and we have radios on us at all times, so I'm very reachable during an emergency. That being said, our jobs are extremely different and there are very few reasons that your job should require you to lock up your phone. They are overstepping and they know it. Overcomplicating this. In the real world, policies change all the time. Employees either accept the new terms or they don't. Restricting access to devices while on the clock isn't a human rights violation. Or, here's a novel idea, discuss your concerns with your boss. Negotiate, suggest a more suitable policy solution. There are many that come to mind, just as I'm typing this response to your post. Are people speaking out about it? Is it a requirement or they are telling you to do it? Some jobs require it. Your next of kin, school, etc. can call the office if there is an emergency in that case. It is unusual in a typical job. I know this as a manager that some people jack with their phones all day and it is a distraction from 8 hours of work at the very least. Is it overdramatic is the wrong question. Is it a good idea is what you should be asking. Get a better job lined up before you quit. Are you OSHA certified for human medical waste disposal? Have you had your hepatitis shots? If not, what your employer is doing is illegal. You go to fast food and get 15 an hour,